Hello everybody at Southborough. This is my second attempt at doing a little video, and it's memories of Southborough, some funny, some good. As I think back of Southborough and what it meant in my life, I first came when I was 11 years old, I believe, when Dad was moved up here. And there was this little church started by, I know the Hills were involved, very much so. There may have been Auntie Wynne, but we just met in this funny old church hall. I had a few peas pitting down here, but it was the people who meant so much to me in those early days, as they taught me a lot about the Bible and things like that. And I went through many pastors as I came and went on furlough from Africa and different places. But my memory of places were the old church hall with those horrible heating bars around the edge. And a lot of us girls particularly had 3 bars imprinted on our legs because it got so hot and we'd burn ourselves. But that hall was used for everything. We met there. I tried to have a barn dance once, but the elders and my dad wouldn't approve of it. But we used to have youth meetings, girls' brigade, and one funny thing, Mrs. Hills was very kind to me, but she locked me out once. I'm sure I was out there talking to one of the boys, but she wouldn't let me back in. I had to plead with her, please let me in, I really will be good. And that was a sort of funny thing for me, but the funniest one I remember is the old baptismal pool there in the old hall. And my dad had to get up the night before and put in this great big heater thing with coils to try and warm up the water. It never did get very warm, if I remember rightly, because I was baptized in that. But my funniest recollection is Pearl Schaaf. She was well, she seemed older to me, but she came and she was anyway, she starts getting and puts her feet in the water and she says, Bert, she says, it's too cold, I can't do it. She said, yes, you can, Pearl. And he gradually persuaded her to get in and get baptized. So that was one of my funniest memories. But most of my memories of growing up there of being nurtured and cared for and encouraged, and had people who were patient with me, and I have very lovely memories, and I'm looking forward to meeting your new pastor. I haven't met him yet. I hope we can do it on WhatsApp, but you have a wonderful celebration. 80 years isn't very long because I've reached 89, so you've got ways to go. God bless you. Bye now.
Hello, Southborough Lane Baptist. Congratulations on your 80th anniversary. Brilliant. I've been asked to share a few memories. 14 years we were there at Southborough. Dorothy and I, we'd only just got married a year before. We arrived September 1982 on a very warm day for the induction service. Our 2 children, Emma and James, were born pretty soon in those early years, and it was a great church to bring up a family. We were there 14 years, so they were young teenagers when they left. And baptism services were always very special. We had a number of baptism services while we were there. Mind you, in the winter, it could be difficult because you'd come out of the pool soaking wet, you know, all your clothes and everything, and you had to leave one building to go to another building through the outdoor freezing cold air in order to get changed. But another story comes to mind about young people. They were keen to lead the Holiday Bible Club a couple of years, and there was a different theme every year. One year the theme was cowboys, Western cowboys, so they would dress up with the costumes and so on. And there was a point where the police received a call from a neighbour reporting that there were people going around with guns. And the police arrived. I wasn't actually there when they arrived, but I'm told that I think they were an armed police squad or something. So that was a bit alarming. But there you go, working with young people. So thank you, Southborough. Thank you for those precious years for our family. They were precious for me in terms of learning how to do this job of being a pastor, of learning how to preach. And you had to put up with a lot, really. But it was really helpful for me, and I made some wonderful friends, and it's great that we can still keep in touch. We still receive letters and cards from you at Christmas. So the Lord bless you. Great that you've got a new pastor and youth leader, Tom and Matthew. So we do pray for you. We do remember you in our prayers, and we're just so grateful that God is still at work and got a lot more to do in the next 80 odd years or whatever. So have a great day and a great year. God bless you all.
Hello everyone, happy birthday, 80 years old, congratulations, and so much to give God thanks for from over those years.
And so many wonderful memories, it's hard to just choose one, but for me I think it was your warmth of welcome and love throughout the time we were with you. I remember the very afternoon when you put on a big tea and Neil was inducted as the minister, and afterwards I was kind of stuck at the front of the church as lots of people came forward, particularly from other churches, to say hello and let me know what was going on. And after a while, Cecilia May came up and she gently took my arm and she said, "Anne, come and have a cup of tea. You're with us now." And it was a beautiful, gentle moment, and I felt your love and your warmth throughout the 10 years, as I know many people did who walked through the doors.
Yes, indeed. And for me, a very fond memory was how you as a church reached out into the local community, how you embraced really warmly that prayer ministry initiative when we went out into different streets each month, gathering prayers and then praying for people. And didn't we see some lives changed and people coming to Christ? Also going out onto the high street with Cadbury's cream eggs one Easter and giving them away to anybody and everybody with the story and the reason for Easter. And as a result, it was a joy to see that lovely baptistry in use so often. And the church grew in faith and in numbers, exciting times. Anyway, it's you're very much on our thoughts and in our hearts. And we send our love this weekend and hope and pray it's a wonderful celebration. God bless. Bye-bye.
Having grown up in Southborough Lane Baptist Church from a baby through to, crikey, my early 20s, I think the best memories I had was time in the Boys Brigade, making good friends and getting married to my lovely wife. But prior to all of that, we got heavily involved with the youth work and did a few pantomimes. Kept on coming up with various ideas and options on how we could make the next one better. And I remember being up in the loft space, putting loads of balloons in so we could pull those down in the middle of the pantomime and create some kind of waterfall of balloons coming out of the ceiling, which was great fun, but at the same time unnerving, going up that high in the church, which is a bit rickety.
It was in 1999 when I first started coming to Southborough Lane Baptist Church. I just moved over from Guernsey to start my midwifery degree, and Neil and Anne were there, and I was welcomed into the family. And for 13 years, we spent our time there. I met Matt and we got married, and we had our two children, Theo and Aidan, during this period. Over those 13 years, I have lots of fun memories, funny stories, and some great times that happened that it's hard to just pinpoint one. From all the pantomimes to the Soul Survivor trips, to the puppet shows, to the carol services, to the youth services, all the different youth groups, balls, fundraising events. But most of all, it's the friendships that I still hold dear over this time and the young people's lives that we were able to spend time with. I hope you enjoy celebrating the anniversary tonight of Southborough Lane Baptist Church.
I joined the church about 40 years ago now, and thinking of a memory about the church turns out is really, really hard, because I couldn't decide from the Saturday badminton sessions, thanks to Mike and Barbara, my weekly Girls Brigade, getting all the way to warrant officer, annoying poor Barbara and Sheila by being a bit of a crazy teenager. Then there was the After 8 club, going to Janice's house. I was somewhat known when I was a teenager for, if you gave me fizzy orange, then I would get very, very hyper and very, very lively. But for me, the church was so special, means so much, because it's where I became a Christian. It's where I was baptized. It's where I got married to my husband. It's where my children love to go now for the bunny hunts each Easter. And it's a really special place. So although I'm only a tiny part of Southborough's 80-year history, actually, for me, Southborough Lane Baptist Church has had a massive impact on my life. So happy anniversary, guys.
Happy 80th anniversary, SLBC. We have such great memories of growing up in Southborough Lane Baptist Church, being a part of the brigades, but then also recently you guys supporting us as we've been out in Ethiopia. We're so grateful. What about you?
So many happy memories of growing up in brigades, in Girls Brigade. I'm still friends with 3 very close friends I made 30 years old. We still meet up very regularly. So yeah, happy birthday.
Happy anniversary.
Hey Southborough Lane, congratulations, 80 years of being a church. It's just wonderful. I've been reflecting recently on what a gift it is to be part of Christian community. It was Eugene Peterson who said, "I'm not myself by myself," and it's true, isn't it? Being part of community is where we discover the love of God, we find our identity, we learn what it is to love one another and to reach out to those who need Jesus. And we know it's not always easy, it can be really hard, but there's something glorious and holy and good about ordinary human beings, broken human beings like you and I, deciding to walk together in love. And so I join you in thanking God for his faithfulness for 80 years. I join you in praying for what God has for you next as a church community, as you seek to be a little taster of the kingdom of God there in Pettswood. So may God bless you.
Hello Southborough, and can I say huge congratulations on your 80th anniversary. It's ironic really, because an 80th anniversary is an oak anniversary, and we got rid of the oak tree in the car park. But there you go. As you think about it, you just have to wonder, where have 80 years gone? But it's still worth remembering that the church is younger than Frank. Only joking. I hope you have the most amazing time celebrating together. It's an auspicious occasion, and may God bless you.